So we will be talking about today on standard operating processes for a CS and BDT. What all things they need to do uh, day in day out, even though they are in this business for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. These are very must, and these are very basic. Let me tell you, it does not need rocket science. It is very basic, and but what happened is people usually don't do that quite often, and it does not harm the business. Let me again put it, if you do not follow this, this may not harm your business that much, but when you do it on a consistency basis, it enhances the quality of you as an individual and the quality of the organization. You will be assigned one particular client as a part of client servicing. And when you are assigned a client, what is you need to do? You need to create this document. And if the organization, wherever you join, if they do not have, maybe you can take this and it can be a great value add when you start working and sharing that in your first meeting with your managers or team. This is what I have prepared after a month or 2 months of work on this particular client. So that client understanding document, we discussed that earlier, product and solution of that particular organization. We talk about the industry they are operate on. We look at their target profile, the kind of organization, the kind of people they are selling their product cycles, products and offerings. Each of the organization have a different financial cycle. It is not that all the organization work from April to March. Every organization has its own unique financial cycle depending upon the parent location or a parent headquarter. So US organizations, some of them will start work from November is their starting of the year, and it gets over in October. Some of them start from January. Few of them start from July. Have that in mind. Document it properly. Every organization will have annual and flagship events, which they repeat on an annual basis. Every year they will like to do that. In last 2 years, many of them of that didn't happen physically, and they moved into the virtual part. But they had done that. So this is an intelligence you need to look at and ensure that you are aware of it. You know the timeline, the kind of which month or which quarter it usually happens, and start talking to your clients accordingly so that you are the first one among other competitive agencies who talking about, so that he can give you some brief. You will have an idea whether it's happening, what kind of budget they're getting, what kind of thought process they're looking at, so that you and your team is well prepared when the actual brief comes to you. You also need to be aware of the kind of payment cycle they follow. Since uh, all these organizations have a payment which is done through a third party system or a bank, so they follow a process where the payments are done after 15 days or 30 days or 60 days. That's the maximum. But they look at collating all the payments at one in for first 15 days and then sharing it with their accounts team so that they can start processing it. So understand that, work it accordingly. So if you miss one deadline, then it pushes you push your payment cycle by another 15 days or 30 days. So this is very important. So you need to understand that, because as a person who is responsible for delivering some activity, you're also responsible to collect the payment of the job once the job is over. You need to understand, as we discussed on that day, we need to understand the complete marketing setup and the team. You need to map each and every individual in that particular organization so that you can communicate what you are doing, and each of them has a different set of target. Your idea is to have a monopoly with one or two of them. Usually you may not have you very rarely I have seen a complete team of 4 or 5 or 6 of people in a marketing team will give all their work to one particular agency. But it is better to get monopolized, to basically identify one or two who's interacting with you, get along with him, and ensure that 80% of his business comes to you. So that should be the strategy, and this is something which I also followed in our organization. Identified these two people in the department who gives us most of the work, and also ensuring that the others give at least some 10 to 15%, but not now, but not getting most of the work from them, because they also like to have 2 or 3 different agencies and then would like to engage with everybody. Understand the other stakeholders. There are sales guys, there are support function, there are admin who have some role. So you need to be aware of that as part of the stakeholders mapping for the particular organization. Keep a track of the current, past, and future activities. And most important, who are the other agencies who are empaneled or working with that particular on that particular client or the brand. Now, this, if you have properly made, and if you are sorted, you know you don't have to go back and keep on reinventing the wheel. Okay. Moving to the next slide. You also need to keep a track. Are we meeting our clients on a regular basis? Are we adding some new contacts? Are we getting some client feedback, testimonials? Do you have an escalation matrix ready? Are you creating what kind of response you have been giving if there's escalations? Also, please ensure that whenever you should, as part of your role, you should ensure that your managers or your account directors or a management team should have some kind of interactions with your client, because that's very, very important. Because they may, over a period of time, you will be the person who you would like to meet. But it is very important that you ensure that your seniors are part of your meetings. If it is not been followed in the organization, but then you need to ensure that you do that from your side. At least once in a quarter, somebody senior person from the organization meets your client, and you facilitate that meeting, because that meetings helps you because you may have limited knowledge, you may have limited understanding to start with. They will have a little bit more knowledge, information. They can talk a lot of stuff. They will have experience. So that then discussion boils down then the discussion becomes helps you to get an understanding what this client is looking for in future. Always maintain this client data. That's something. This is the most important thing. It's very, very important that you should maintain client data and have a list. These are the new people, and if you can go a little ahead in this relationship, get to know a little bit more about him, his birthdays, his anniversary. Then, if the organization allows, have that some kind of a gifts and giveaways given to this guy on their birthdays or anniversary or Diwalis and all, which is quite common and accepted. Just don't go overboard. Just don't go overboard. Then it becomes very, very difficult. It doesn't look good. People don't like that also. But a wish, maybe a cake, after a couple of years of relationship helps. What else? So we talked about SLAs and SOPs. So let's understand. So we'll talk about email, we'll talk about meetings and communication. How about campaign briefing? Professionalism at work. Now, these are important. I'll share a little bit about my views. Each organization has their own way of managing it. So, and they have their own culture. As part of your SOP and SLAs, you should also look at invoicing and payment collection. These are very, very crucial. Now, how many of you have noticed this kind of email displays? Now, this kind of, when you are making an email display like this, it will make, it shows that, okay, you are from this organization, this is your department, you are based out of Delhi.
Oh, never seen that.
This is available in all this any of this email services you use, and most of the organizations wherever you're going to work, they will have a professional email service either from Gmail or from Microsoft or yeah, these are the two. Or Yahoo is having that Verizon or which one? There are a few more services, GoDaddy and all. So they have these email services where the email accounts are configured on your Outlook or some other email tool. Or even if you are using a web browser, you can still create a display so that your name and your organization name is easily identified, and the person knows that okay, Rahul Thakur is from Redefine, and then he can always search it properly. Because most of the clients will not have that much time to sort your email ID and put it in an email box. Please understand, you are not on the top priority. The top priority for a client is his boss and his clients. So he may not organize your email in a separate box. So you'll always like to search. Sneha has dropped me a mail. This is how, but Sneha and some organization, the email ID may not be written as Sneha. It may be like s.verma at xyz.com or .in. So when you search Sneha, you may not get it. So if you put a display name Sneha Verma, it is easy to search. The tool will search it properly. So these are very small. These are very basic. Try to do that.
This is not Gmail, right?
This can be done in Gmail.
Which platform is this? Like
this? No, the backend. See, this is the email client is the email service is from Yahoo. Okay, and the tool which the team was using is Outlook. But in Outlook, you get your emails downloaded in your system, in your laptops or desktops, and in Yahoo, it is always on cloud, so you can open it in a browser, Edge or Chrome, wherever it is. But both the places, this display setting can be done. Okay, it is not that it has to be, you need anything special. Any email ID, 9 out of 10, whatever I know, will help you to set your display name properly. Next is signature. Now, this is again a very important tool. And it will, as a person who is in client servicing or in business team, who is facing the client on a day in, day out, you need to ensure that your mobile number and email ID is always there at your signature along with your name and designation. This again can be done professionally with imageries and all, or in your normal services, normal emails of Gmail or Yahoo or Hotmail and all, you have an option to create a signature. Yeah. So again, nothing new. You can create a signature and you can put everything, and it becomes whenever you send a mail, this comes automatically. You should try to use it whatever services you are using for your personal email ID, which is free of cost. Create a signature so that with your name, if you are putting a course that this is what you've done, and then you can put your email ID and the phone number. The reason is there are many times the client forwards want to refer you to some other team member or some of his friend. So if you have a signature, it is very easy for them to just forward one of the mails from you, removing all the content saying, please connect with Sneha. And here is our detail. I have noticed many of people don't like to give their email IDs or phone numbers in a reply mail. When you are writing a first time a mail, you some of them will have that, some of them may not have. But when you are doing an interaction with the client multiple times, they tend to remove it. But my suggestion is keep it always. there may be a chance when he is talking to somebody and then he has to find your email ID and or phone number. He will struggle. So keep it handy for him. Very, very crucial. It helps. Trust me. You are the face of the company. You are the one who people like to reach. So if there's an opportunity, and like, as I told you, this does not cost anything. You don't have to do it again and again. Just spend 5 minutes or 10 minutes, get your signature uh, configured in your email, and that's it. And do it specifically for replies also, so that you don't have to have, because there are options to have a separate signature for your when you're composing a new mail or having doing a reply. So please ensure that it is there for in both the places, so that it's handy for them. They don't have to search for your email ID in some other mail. Okay.
So it might sound an irrelevant question, but why we are mentioning mail ID? Because we are sending from our mail, right?
Absolutely. This is a very good question. And as I told you, they may refer you to somebody. As I told you first, for clients, you are not the topmost priority. Please understand that. Suppose you wanted to give my email ID to your friend next. You will not go to search the email and say, take this email ID. If you have this written in this email, you can just forward it to him. Okay?
Yes.
It is, as I told you, it is absolutely not. As I told you, you are not the priority. For him, his clients are priority. For him, his bosses are priority. You are a service provider. You may not for you he is very priority person. He or she calls you, you will wake up and stop whatever you're doing and take this call. So, but it is important. He may not, and he is giving you the business. So it's all the more important that you whatever information he needs for him to search you is available with him always.
Okay.
I really appreciate this question, because this is what everybody thinks. I'm sending the email, he have to reply back. No, but why he may not reply back? He may ask somebody else wanted to reply to he wanted to refer to somebody. Then what will happen? And if most of the large organizations, MNCs, big organizations are doing it, there must have somebody would have done some research. Meetings and communication. Again, you may have multiple meetings. You may have a call or a discussion with your client. One of the most important thing is, and you should create it for yourself. I will create minutes of the meeting and share with all the people who are there at that discussion. Very, very important. It will help you in two things. One is you will document all those things which you discussed in the call or in the meeting, so that there is absolutely transparency in this discussion. Second, if you miss something or if the client has to add something else, he will do that. I will give you an example. Today morning, I have dropped in the day for yesterday, I had a call with a client. My team was there. I asked them to put a minutes, and they drafted a minutes. So they just drafted the points of discussion, and we shared with the client. So it was about an event which was happening in next month end. Morning there's a lunch function. There's an evening there's a dinner function, and we shared. This is what discussed. And then when he replied, he said, Sandeepan, I'm sorry, I missed this particular point. We would like to have a few one-on-one meetings during the dinner function also. So I need a separate meeting room for that. Had I not shared, or had we not shared, you would have missed that entire thing, and you have to redo the entire proposal once again once you share the proposal. So it's very, very important that you document whatever discussion you are having with your clients or with your vendors or with your internal team if it is required, so that everybody is in the same page. There is no miscommunication or misunderstanding. Second, acknowledge all the emails. It can be as small as just dropping a note, a mail saying noted, understood. That's it. People like to be aware that you have read their mails. You do not want, it's as good as, I don't know, you should not be, somebody should not be calling you, ki, I have dropped in a mail, did you have a chance to go through it? Usually people do it up 2 or 3 hours if you don't get anything. So please keep that in mind and acknowledge whenever you get a mail, spend some time once you have gone through it, acknowledge it. Yes, I have received it, I understood it. When you're doing that, please ensure the attachments are open and you have read it. If it's important mail, when you acknowledge, document it. This is what you're understanding. If there's anything to be, if it is not very clear. And this is the most important thing. When you are interacting with the client, chances are you will get a mail directly from a client. And he may not, or he may not copy to your managers or your subordinate. And you may have to get sort of input from them, or they would have given, you may need to delegate some of the work to them. So whenever you are replying, it is your duty to ensure that your managers or your team members are added in that trail. This is your duty. Don't come back and tell, no, I have just replied, they have not copied, and hence I have not put you in the mail. Client might forget. For him or her, you are the person, you are the agency when you are engaging with him. So please ensure that it is your responsibility when you reply, keep your managers, keep your team members in this communication loop, so that from that onwards, everybody is aware of what is happening on that particular campaign or mail trail. And also, I missed it here, but you should always continue to do the mail trail instead of writing a new mail every time. In a professional environment, for one particular subject, one particular note, keep one mail trail. Let it be. Let all the interactions happening in that, so that whoever is there in that is aware of, or somebody joins in this particular trail later on, can go through the entire discussion and start working towards it. As I told you, these are very, very basic things, but this is where a person who is a good CS and a bad CS differs. Because all this does not need time, all this does not need additional spends. All you need is somebody just putting some common sense and doing it religiously. When you are putting up a campaign brief, again, we discussed that yesterday also, ensure that you have all this information. You need to look at the objective of the campaign, the target, kind of activity, any other information. So client will give you a very, very brief information. You have to elaborate that in detail so that the people in your team is aware of what is expected of this campaign. Your operations, for your operation, you have to talk about the event flow. You need to talk about speakers. You need to talk about different sites which is required. When you have for closures, the planning and the timeline. And what happens is this is followed once or twice. What is required is it has to be followed for each and every activity. this is where things go wrong. When you start in a campaign for a client, and after 2 months or 3 months, the same things again coming repeatedly, you tend to not do this. But that's where the difference is. You have to do this day in, day out for each and every campaign. This is professionalism at work. This is very, very important. You have to be responsible. You have to be on time. There is a dress code in the organization. Please try to follow and contribute wherever there's a possibility and in the organization. One important thing: communicate. This is something which I have seen not happening much. People just do something and wait for the other person to acknowledge, or the person say, okay, I have received it, I have, my job is done, I will do something, but they don't acknowledge. So this is very, very important, that you should communicate whenever when you are in work, communicate with your peers. Now, this is something which we have done in our organization. Basically, as your job of taking care of the client, you also need to ensure that you invoice this properly. Because right time invoicing ensure that you get your payment on time. You feel you will have challenges of getting the vendor bills, putting all your expenses in one place, but that is what. But by the time you finish the first job, you will have another project on hand, and you will be much more busy on that. You will get occupied. That will take much of your time, and this takes a back seat. So try to ensure that your job doesn't get over till you get the money from the client. Please understand, for the project doesn't get closed. Project only will get closed when you have money coming in your organization's account. So when you are looking for rewards or returns from investment, do you get that as soon as you put money, or you get it beforehand?
You get it after
a certain time period.
So when you start working, and this is what I'm coming towards, you have to put a lot of effort. The rewards will come little late. Don't expect that I will get additional bonus by just doing the same old thing, what everybody is doing. Understood?
Yes.
This is very, very important. You have to put, if you are looking at some returns coming in, some interest coming in on, suppose you put 5 lakhs in a bank, it will only come when you put that 5 lakhs today, and you can get return or the interest after 6 months, 3 months, 1 month. What is the duration? You will not get it on day one. So when you start working, keep that in mind. Don't come back and tell कि यार मेरे को ज्यादा इंक्रीमेंट नहीं मिली है, मेरे को ज्यादा वैल्यू नहीं मिली है, मैंने तो वो सारा काम किया है जो आपने बोला था. When you do transaction, you will get transactional value. When you do more, when you invest more of your time and effort for your organization, you will get reward. You will get the right kind of return. You will have a lot of work, as I told you, and this is very, very important. Whenever you join, whichever organization you're joining, please ensure you should be aware of the objective why you are joining here, what you want to achieve in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years time. So as I say, if you want to go somewhere, if you don't know where you're going, any road will lead. Okay, so, and it goes well for each and every thing which you do in your life. One small benefit and one small tip I would like to give it to you. How many of you are here in this team?
How many of us?
Are there in this group?
11.
My suggestion is, please keep in touch with all this 11 or at least for next 15 years.
Yes.
It will. I'm telling you, it will. And then when I say in touch, it is not just sending a WhatsApp message in once in a 6 month saying happy birthday so and so. At least talk to them once in a month or twice in a month. After 2 years, because I'm sure for next 1 year you will be talking to each other, but it is after 2 years and 3 years you will not get in touch with people. Okay. The reason I'm telling you this, because 15 years from now, all of you will be in some senior position, and you guys can help each other. You will have a network of this 15 who would have reached at certain level, who can, some of them can be on the client side, some of them can be on the vendor side, and you guys can collaborate at that time. In next 2 years time or 3 years time, the opportunities will be there, but will be limited. But at 15 years, 10 years, 15 years time, you will have opportunities, you will be in a position to take decisions, and that's where it helps. And I have noticed people don't do that, including me, but I have realized this is really helpful. So I'm giving you this tip, please keep this in mind. And when you are looking at a role of CS or a business development, a good network will definitely help. They will help you give references. They will help you give businesses. So please keep that in mind. And if you are able to connect with your past and future groups, that makes life much easier. For first few years, you may not get any business or professional benefit, but over a period of time, it will definitely come. Okay, so when we are working on a project, when you are doing any activity, please plan ahead. Look at challenges, look at emergencies coming in, look at marriages coming in between of friends and family, having some medical issues. There may be possibilities of breaks, holidays. So whatever, when you have a plan, when you have a project in hand, when you are doing your activities, daily routine activity, within that you have to plan for different projects. Keep this in mind. Very, very crucial, because there are many chances I have seen people forget this. And they say, यार मेरे पास तो 10 दिन का टाइम है, मैं बहुत आराम से कर लूंगा. बट इन 10 दिन के अंदर 2 सैटरडे होगा, 1 संडे होगा, बीच में तो कश्मीर फाइल भी देखनी पड़ेगी, तो सारा काम, और फिर यू विल टेल कि अभी मेरे पास टाइम नहीं है, मैं कैसे करूं. ओके, सो इंटरप्शंस, इमरजेंसी, ब्रेक्स, सबका प्लानिंग लेके चलो कि ये हो सकता है या नहीं हो सकता है. So whenever you plan for all this. If it happens, put a plan. If it doesn't happen, you will have extra time. So you will try to complete this well before time. You know that and then also have a planning, have a preparation time. You need to plan. The guy who is doing a creative will need some time. His time is not only working on the system or doing some designs, but he has to have some time to think about it, how he should design, what he has to design, what the concept. It takes time. Please understand that. Keep that in mind. And communicate that to the client also. Ki, bhai, sir or ma'am, we are working. A video of 2 minutes takes 3 hours or 5 hours to actually come to time to prepare. Understood? You may not be aware of this preparation time, so please discuss with this team who's actually working on the operations part. Somebody who's doing designing will be able to tell you how much rendering time will take, a video will take to render, or a 3D design will take to render, apart from doing the design part. Similarly, when you are setting up a venue, you have to ask your logistics team or a technical team how much time will take to erect a complete set and the time to do the complete technical test. So have that in mind. Account for it. You will be doing a lot of multiple tasking. So there are projects which are difficult, which are complex, which need very focus. So you need to keep that 1 hour, 2 hour, 15 minutes time designated for that. You cannot do this as part of a routine job. 10 to 5, 10 to 9, or 10, whatever time you have in your office. If you have a complex project, if you have to create a campaign strategy, and where you need to think about it, and you need some more people to help you out, please ensure that you set aside a time, get everybody's do a brainstorming. People usually don't do that as part of the plan. Do this whenever you have opportunity. But when you have to do some routine work, just keep on as part of your to relax. You want to send a mail, acknowledge to something, approve, send a mail to a client for approval. Do that along with your other stuff. And this should be your day should start with all the routine work, and the complex can be later. Or you want to you start your day with the complex. My way of approach is let's finish the routine work. So that you have a positive frame of mind, because when you are stuck on certain things, your frame of mind also is stuck, and you think a lot of कि यार अभी नहीं हो रहा है, मैं क्या करूँ, deadline है. So let's finish the routine activities and then take the complex one. And always look for extra time. Don't just कि 2 घंटे के अंदर सब कुछ हो जाएगा, तो फिर अगर तुम्हें 1 घंटा चाहिए तो keep it 1 hour 30 minutes something. I don't know how you have planned for last 2 years, but what I have noticed, if I have to have a call and it's predominantly Zoom or some Teams or something, and the call duration is half an hour, I have noticed my first 15 minutes before the call and 15 minutes after the call is also meant for that particular preparation and recap to and summarizing it. So that's how I have worked for last 2 years, and it took a lot of extra time. It is much more difficult to manage because 8 hours time gets stretched to 12 hours or 14 hours because of that. Because for each call you have to prepare yourself. For each call you have to, once the call is over, to summarize. You know what is your role in that particular call. What is the kind of action item you have. Similarly, if you have a project, if you are looking at certain campaign or design or anything, please keep an extra time in hand, buffer in hand. Don't say कि बस 2 दिन में हो जाएगा. If your creative team gives you 2 days time, you may look at add maybe another half day or maybe another day, so that whatever changes are done between once the creative gives it to you, you should look at, you may do some changes or your manager may do some changes. So keep that time. It is not that once he gives you just forward it to the client. Allow that extra time whenever you are committing to your client based on the feedback of your operations team, be it creative or execution or technical stuff. Work one thing at a time, but alternate. Now, this is something which I have seen people don't do that. They say, okay, अभी ये कर लेता हूँ, फिर अभी ये कर लेता हूँ. Have you seen a juggler?
Yes.
So when he juggles, he will always have 1 or 2 balls in his hand, or 1 or 2 items. He will not have multiple things in his hand. If there's something which is not necessary, just get rid of it. This is a very important. Sometimes you need to look at this. कि यार ये तो मेरे को ये करके कोई फायदा नहीं है, ये नहीं करते हैं. तो काफी चीजें होती हैं जहाँ पे तुम you can avoid things. You can always, once the creatives are halfway through, you can connect your creative team to भाई अब तू बना के भेज दे, I am out of it, and let it get closed. Or the operation team and the creative can interact so that the designs are ready and the print files are ready, and he can go ahead and look at go for production. You do not have to be the part of, once everything designs are closed. You should not be. Then you don't have any role. You are just being a postman from creative. Take the design and print file, and then passed on to the ops team to take care of the printing and production and operation. Both the teams are responsible. Once the designs are approved, you have a reference imagery, logos, color, fonts, everything is closed. Then there should not be any deviation from the creative team's side. Information is passed on to the production team. There cannot be any deviation. Everybody has a single reference point which is got approved. There you can eliminate unit step. You do not have to wait for designs coming to you, then you send it to the other person. Simplify tasks which you cannot eliminate. Easy. It's not, sorry, not easy, but try doing it. Break it down things कि पहले ये करेंगे, फिर ये करेंगे, फिर ये करेंगे, फिर ये करेंगे. Like I usually tell my team, if I have set a target, I have to do this year, hypothetically, 1 CR of business. Now that looks big, but I say, okay, let me break it down. 1 CR, first month, can I do 5 lakhs? Second month, can I do another 5 lakhs? Third month, can I do 10 lakhs? In between, I can do 20 lakhs in 1 month. So that way, all I need to do is focus, and this 5 lakhs will come from 1 client or 2 clients or 3 clients. So when I do that breakup, then it looks very small. Or I say, if I have 3 clients and I have to get 1 crore from them, then I divide that. 1 client will give me 50 lakhs, another 2 will give me 30 and 20. Then I again divide that by 12 per month wise, then it looks very small. So when you have a project, I have to do suppose you have an activity which says this particular food getting launched, I need to do that on nationwide launch. Now that becomes very big. How do we do a nationwide launch? Then we look at nationwide means what? 5 cities, 10 cities, 20 cities, 25 cities. Then you look at, okay, 25 cities. Great. Let's identify these 25 cities. How do we identify? Based on the population, based on the reach, where the products is available. So that way you eliminate a lot of stuff, and then you have the 25 cities. In these 25 cities, how many locations? 1 location or 10 location or 50 locations? Again, then you eliminate, you filter it down, 25, 10 locations, which should be, now the product is high value, so it should be in an affluent market. So which are the 10 or 15 large affluent market? Identify that. Easy?
Yes, sir.
That way you then come pinpoint कि अभी मेरे को एक सिटी में 10 लोकेशन ढूंढने हैं और ऐसे मेरे को 25 जगह में करने हैं. That's it. Instead of saying nationwide launch करना है, कैसे करेंगे, प्लान क्या करना है. That is very, because then you're not talking numbers, you're not talking anything tangible, you're just talking a non-tangible stuff. Put a tangible stuff, put a numbers, then things will be much easier.
Right.
Right, sir.
Try to do two compatible tasks simultaneously. Any example?
Choose count.
Like similar types of tasks can be done together.
Yes. Suppose you have a brief from 2 different clients to do 2 product. One is product launch and one is a dealer meet. And you have to look for hotels. So you can always do the same. I have one brief for this, and I have one brief, and you can send the same mail to 5 different people. And both the briefs can be put in one place. So each and every venues can find out which is suitable for them, which they can give based on the change of restaurant, or they can suggest, if you have an account manager for your organization from a hotel industry, he can suggest here the dealer meet can be done in Jaipur, or the conference can be done in Delhi, for an example. So these are something which is very similar. You can always get it done together. Sometimes some projects which are which needs a long duration, and basically sorry, and sometimes it needs frequent interruptions from your managers and all. So try to do this fast, so that you finish the complete thing, because these are long duration tasks. And then you are busy with a lot of stuff. So if it needs frequent visits from your, something to be done from the creatives, you need some update from your operation team. So put everything in one place. These are the tasks that should be done first because you are dependent on multiple people. And then well, if they don't give you, you are dead. You are waiting for a artist. If your artist team is not able to respond, or if your third party or your artist vendor is not responding, then you are dead. So keep these interruptions, keep these dependencies as your first choice things. Let's do this so that I don't have to depend. Once you have all this information, all you need to put it properly as part of your campaign or part of your work. Because this, if you have your complete campaign ready, but you don't know the right artist to put in, or the right venue to be put in this presentation, you cannot do anything. You have a theme ready, you have a logo ready, you have done the creative rendering, you have a gate, you have a stage ready, your collateral is designed ready, but the artist or the venue is not put, you cannot send this entire deck to the client. So these interruptions, these dependencies need to be there well in advance, or you need to address them well in advance so that when your timeline to finish is in 2 days time or 3 days time, this should be there a day before. Am I able to communicate? You're able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Keep a selection of smaller projects and simpler tasks around to fill the gaps. So we have a large project, you are working on certain things, you're stuck, or take a break. Let's finish these small things. Let's think something. I have to drop a mail to, I have to talk to my, there's a vendor bill which has to be cleared, or I have to close some accounting stuff. All these small things you will be able to understand. You should keep that as part of your project gaps are completed. A lot of people you would have seen doing specifically senior people spend a lot of time in flights to complete their projects. So use this time when you are on a cab, or if you're on a Bombay local. I don't know whether Bombay local is the right fit. Can you utilize this time to do some thinking? Can you do some research with your phone and do Google out something which you're looking at? Utilize wherever you think, where you have time, you're not been doing something. Read it or something, research something. Because that 1 hour time or 2 hour time of travel is it will get you wasted if you do not do anything. That if you have to do some kind of planning and thinking a strategy, can you use this travel time to do that? Be it in a cab or be it in any other vehicle. And it helps, I'm telling you that. You can save a lot of time. A lot of the best part is if you have a small, I am an old school, so if you have a notepad and pen, you can write it down. You guys are smart enough, you can just put this part of your notes in your handheld machines. That way, if you've thought about an idea, if you see something which is which can give you an idea, just put it down as a note. And when you start planning, take it out, and then you can create. It can add a lot of value there. Work at a pace which cuts. And please don't get burned out. Work out a pace. If you think you need help, please ask. That's very, very important. When you think it's overburdening you, is burning you, please ask for help. No organization is going to say no, that you don't need help and you get lost. You are always welcome whenever you are asking for some help. You think things, I am not able to do it. You don't have to prove that everything. Nobody is perfect, and you cannot. Everybody will not do it. It cannot do everything. So if you are not able to do it, you have speed, and you think that I can do it in 3 days time or 4 days time. Tell him. Beyond that, I need little help. And people will, and if they are aware of that, this is the timeline you are maintaining it, and you can do that, they are happy. Let me tell you, no manager will come and tell me कि आज ही कर दो या कल ही कर दो. वो तुमसे पहले पूछेगा कि भाई कितना टाइम लगेगा तुमने. If you tell me that okay, I need 2 days, if he has a deadline, then he will ask for to do it in 1.5 days or 1 day. or the job is very small, then he may say, "Can we do it faster?" But if it is a reasonable time, and you work on, you give a timeline, please ensure that you do that and have a pace which does not burn you.